Hi. Welcome back. How was your week?
It was good.
Yeah? What was the best thing that happened this week? I know you guys have been doing a lot of senior activities and stuff.
We just got back from Disneyland and it was so fun.
Was it? What was the best thing about it?
I don't know, just being in Disneyland is just so fun.
Had you been recently or had it been a long time since you've been?
I haven't been
Yeah.
since I was like 8 years old,
How
so it was kind of like a refreshment. It was super fun and the grad night was awesome and then being with friends was cool.
And you're coming up on graduation next week?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The time is getting close.
It is.
Good. Okay, so last week we kind of went over different ideas in regards to choosing your major for next year, and I know you felt a little bit of pressure to just know what you were going to do before you got there. And so we kind of broke it down, I think, into 3 or 4 pretty good options for you. And were you able to do some homework when you went home to look at the majors at Azusa?
Yeah, I mean, not extensive research, but just a couple. Like, I definitely found like the general like gist of just like what they require a little bit, and I didn't like dive deep into like which classes I need to take, but more like just the general idea of like what we're going to be learning and interpreting.
Okay.
I really think that my heart's set on either psych or a health science. It's kind of different, but kind of the same.
Okay.
Psych is just like everything I love, so that's cool. But I kind of still want to research and see like how much like I need to do and how far this can take me in a way.
Okay.
And then health sciences would just like caught my eye because it's like a mixture of like being an athlete and like loving science and like kind of meshing it all together and like seeing like how like it affects your body and just like it's kind of cool.
Okay, so with psych and then health sciences, those are 2 pretty close but then different majors. Maybe at some point before you leave, even though it doesn't sound like you have to choose, maybe we could kind of explore career options for the 2 of them and kind of see where that would put you after graduation in like additional schooling, or if you could go straight into the workforce and see if that can maybe help you decide. Okay, good. That was a great activity for you to do, I think, and it's narrowing down the things that you need to kind of move forward into August and starting your classes down there. So I felt good about that session. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about college. I think that when you're leaving for college, you have this idea in your mind, and sometimes it's kind of like all roses and happiness because you're living in a dorm for the first time and you're playing sports. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the different challenges you might face, and so that you're a little bit more prepared for them as they come up. And maybe they will, maybe they won't, but at least the mindset will kind of be there. So if we're talking about challenges we can't control, I had this little list I found online, and it said that along the road you may find a fork in the road, have to climb a steep hill, hit a dead end, or reach a one-way sign. So for me, I think that I hit a couple challenges in college that I wasn't even prepared for. I played soccer like you and faced a career-ending injury, and it was something I never thought would happen to me. And I think if I would have been prepared for that mentally, I probably would have been able to deal with it a lot better. So can you think of a time in college when you would reach a fork in the road and have to make a decision?
Well, obviously the major thing would be one of those, just kind of like seeing where my life takes me. Maybe just like decisions like a decision to like go abroad or like something like that, like kind of do something out of my comfort zone. Like that would definitely be one.
So the fork of like staying at Azusa or going abroad.
Yeah.
It's a huge change. Okay, what about a hill that you would have to climb? Like something that you might not think was, as hard as it ends up being.
I think that I'm not really mentally prepared for like the difference in like college education versus high school education.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be something for me to have to adjust to, and I think it'll be like hard at first, but I think I'll get there. But just the thought of that is like I need to prepare like with studying like habits and stuff like that. So that's definitely going to be a challenge.
Like a good steep hill that you might.
And then like definitely time management with that too, like education, and then also with soccer, like just balancing and trying to excel in both.
Yeah, those are good steep hills. Okay, and then what about like a dead end sign or a dead end road that you might run into? Have you thought about those?
No, not really. I think I don't even know what that would be.
One that comes up in my mind with you is maybe exploring a major and then hitting a dead end of like, this is not right for me. I need to turn around and go backwards.
Yeah.
But you kind of already have prepared yourself for that because you're not wanting to make a wrong decision, and it sounds like you're going to go in undeclared anyways. So maybe you're avoiding a dead end road at this point. Okay, so I kind of wanted to talk to you about the challenges that you might face, and I have this little sheet that I want you to fill out, and then we're going to talk about it more. And it's kind of breaking down challenges, and I personalized it for you that you may feel at soccer, with your academics, with your friends, and then personally once you're down at college. So why don't you take a minute and read through it, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay. So I just write challenges.
Yeah, so it gives you the topic, and then write down a challenge you might face and what you could learn from that challenge.
What do you mean by personally?
Like anything that you might see as a personal challenge once you're down there. that
Just like
comes to mind.
emotionally, mentally.
Mhm.
Okay. Mm. I guess we can just go from there. Like I'll figure
Okay.
it out.
Okay, so since soccer is going to be such a huge part of your life in college, I added that as something just for you. What are the challenges that you can think of when you're visualizing your first year on the soccer team in college?
Well, these are kind of extreme.
Okay.
Like an injury, like I set a plateau, which means like a point where I feel like I'm not getting better, and I
Okay.
feel like I'm just like not doing enough, or like I'm average, and I'm kind of afraid that that's what can potentially happen. So
Okay.
that might be a challenge, is like hoping I do my best. Fitness, like obviously the first year I'm going in hopefully as fit as I am, but like years to come kind of thing. Like
Okay.
I'm hoping I can keep up with that. And then obviously like team losses, like that kind of is something that helps you develop, I guess, as a player. But those are obviously a challenge.
Right, definitely a challenge for an
Mhm.
athlete. And what do you think you can learn from those challenges? What could you learn from being on a team? What if you went in next year and you had 10 losses in a row? What do you think you can learn from that?
I think with that, I wrote a lot for all of them, but
Okay.
I think a lot of them with that description would be like patience, definitely, because you have to learn to just like stick by your team's side, like regardless of the results.
Right.
Passion, which is the same thing, because if you love the sport and like losses are a part of it, and I think that would be a huge thing to just be like you love what you do,
Right.
regardless of the result. Strength, mentally and physically, like you would work your booty off to get back where you need to be, and like mentally that would just like bring the team together, and so that would just, I think, help.
A lot of the things that you talk about learning from a struggling soccer experience, it sounds like, are like inward lessons about sticking to your guns, being a team player, sticking by your team. It sounds like, I know you mentioned before that you were a leader, and so it sounds like even as a freshman going in, you're planning on using your strengths to lead a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big expectation. Okay, and what about school? Because I know that it's a big change from high school to college. So academically, what's a struggle that you could have?
Well, like I said, just like change in the requirements of all the courses, like just like your study habits and your time management, and just definitely the hardships you're gonna have in each class, like whether it's something you aren't passionate about learning or just like just trying to excel in that. I think that that's gonna be something that I think is gonna come up in a lot of ways, like maybe just a general education class where I'm not passionate or something about, and feeling like I should do more.
Have you had that situation in high school where you've been given classes that you don't necessarily want to be?
Yeah, basically all my English classes.
And what's a way that you forced yourself to stay committed and get good grades? Because I know you have phenomenal grades. So
I guess just it's just part of me. Like if I need to get something done, I usually was the type of person to push back like an English essay or something and just stick to what I like to do and get those things done. But I just told myself you need to do it or else so
yeah.
Whether it was super late at night or some just squeeze time out to give up times with friends, I would just tell myself
to get it done,
force it done. Yeah.
And were you driven more by the academic success in there or the success of dominating the actual material?
I think it's different for each course. I think some of them I was focused on just getting an A,
Okay.
and some of them I was an A with excellence. That's what I kind of just in my science classes, of course, I feel my teachers would say pleasure to have, or that was because I literally put my heart and soul into those courses and those assignments and projects. And then there was some where I just got by with it, I felt and just
Right.
was I'll put together what you need me to put together and I'll do what I can.
And it sounds like you have the same plan for college,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like you've been able to do it before, so hopefully you can set yourself up knowing that, especially the general education, it might be some classes that you don't necessarily want to be in.
Yeah.
But then those get less and less as you're, moving into your upper division courses too. So that's always nice. Okay, and what are your thoughts on friends? Is there something that comes to mind in regards to challenges with your friends in college?
I put down time and energy because I feel a lot of my friends at first are going to be definitely my soccer teammates because we're going to be doing
Right.
everything together. And so with that, I think those friendships are just going to come naturally and just we're going to kind of flow. So that's what I was thinking. But then now I'm thinking of friends at home and friends that I already know down there, or maybe friends that I'm branching out with.
Okay.
I just feel I'm going to be facing something where they're not going to kind of understand literally how busy and tired I'm going to be.
Right.
And so as much as I'm going to want to be around and make new friendships, I also have a needing desire to just stay focused on what I do with my life and
Right.
stuff. So I'm scared that it's going to turn into a personal thing and I'm going to want to be with them, but
Right.
it's just going to be a mixture of how
time
much.
management.
Yeah.
and- okay, that's good. No, that's a
Yeah.
really good answer. Okay, and then what about personally, going away to college? What do you think of when you think of a struggle?
Honestly, I thought I'd never say this, but I think I'm going to be a little bit homesick. I'm probably the most one of the most independent people I know, and I've always wanted to go to college, but I think I'm going to be a little bit sad to not be around
To actually go
yeah,
away.
my friends and close family friends and stuff. So
Good.
yeah.
Does it help you to see these things written out? Because sometimes we do think about all the good, and there is these little roadblocks that you're going to face. Of course, we all do. How does it feel to write them down?
Well, I'm a visual learner, and I'm the type of person to write out my schedule and things that I need to get done. And I feel this is something that I really kind of haven't thought about. So,
Good.
Yeah.
So I think you mentioned when we were talking about your friends, just maybe being homesick and missing the friends that were here or the family that's here. So when we meet next time, I kind of want to talk to you about how we keep the friendships that are most important at home as we look to make new friends, because no matter what we do when we move on in our life, especially with you moving away, all your friends are moving away. And so they're all making new friends. And I kind of just want to talk to you about the important ways to keep the most important people in your life here, and yet allowing yourself to kind of open up and start to make new friendships down in Azusa too. Does that sound good? Okay, so let's plan on that for next week, and we'll talk about friendships when you move to college.
Okay.